Morning, everyone. NWA Prepper here. And today I would like to talk to you about water. Water is wonderful. We need water. It's kind of important. Yeah, it's pretty important. Air and shelter, water, food, security. Water, however, is the one thing that you're guaranteed that you have to have in every emergency situation. You may not need shelter. You may have shelter. Maybe not long enough that you have to have food, but you certainly need water, both to drink and for sanitation. Those are things that are going to happen. Regardless, you got to be prepared for them for big and small emergencies. So I've got some points to talk about today. I actually have notes. Not that I'm going to look at them anymore. I refreshed myself a few moments ago. So how much water do you need? That's kind of a loaded question. And that depends on not only your personal situation, but both your habits, your likes and dislikes. I mean, there's lots of people out there that say, oh, you need a gallon a day per person. Okay, I'm not going to disagree with that. But I think you need a little more than that. I mean, at a bare minimum. And I say that because I drink almost a gallon of water a day now. I'm sure when I'm working harder and doing more things, I'm going to drink more water. So how much do you need? That's a decision you have to make. Keep track of, for a week, keep track of how much fluid you bring in. And I'm counting your coffee and all your stuff. And then estimate how much you use for sanitation. And that's harder to do than others. You can brush your teeth with just a little bit of water. You can't really gauge your shower unless you know what your shower head puts out. Same with flushing the toilet. But your toilet, somewhere on it, most likely has a X number of gallons / liters per flush. So you can figure it out or get a ballpark. So pay attention how much you really use over a week, and then average it for how much water you really use in a day. That's way more than a gallon. And we're used to just turning the spigot and it coming out. So, like I said, that's up to you. Minimum of a gallon. I've stored 2 gallons at a time. Even in my emergency short-term disaster kit in town, I have 2 gallons per person for a month stored, rotated and stored. And that's not my rain catchment. That's not the water sources around my house. That is just in storage inside in a safe, contained place. So that's easy. I am gonna peek, actually. So in an emergency, where are you gonna get your water? For anyone who's been following Viking preparedness, his Viking training challenges, and I think it's on Patreon. I'm pretty certain it's on his Patreon. his Viking preparedness or Viking training tasks. The last one had to do with finding water, where to get it from your home, and not on your property or not on your immediate. So like not from your rain catchment, not from your sink, not from the back of my toilet or my water bob that's in my bathtub. None of those places. Where are you going to find water? Do you have a creek? Do you pond? Do you live by a river? Do you live by the ocean? You know, how are you going to get, where are you going to find your water? That's something you need to be looking for multiple sources now. Because just like in the Sahara Desert, watering holes are going to be violent places. So you want to have multiple options, if possible, to get your water. How are you going to haul it? I mean, that is a really big question that I don't hear a whole lot. Because if let's say we're using a gallon a day per person, that includes animals. So how am I going to haul 5 gallons of water a day at a minimum? I'm not going to do that in my Nalgene bottle or my 1-quart canteen. That's impractical. My 55-gallon drum is impractical to take down to a water source and back. So figure out a way you're going to do it. If you live someplace that you can have buckets, great, have buckets. I'd have a clean and ready bucket, just ready for water. If you don't have that kind of storage or don't want to keep a bucket around, I'm going to adjust you guys, hold on. If you don't want to keep a bucket around, then you can do, they have canvas collapsible buckets. We use them in Civil War reenacting and Mountain Man reenacting or rendezvous. That they squish flat. They squish, just a water canvas about like that. But they're about 1.5 gallon or 2 gallon bucket. They're great. They're easy. There's all kinds of collapsible water containers. So if you're an apartment dweller, you can still have a way to haul water. But you're going to need to haul it. Once you get it home, you're going to need a way to clean it. Or a portable way if you're going to drink it at the source. So how are you going to clean your water? And there's 100 ways from Sunday on how to do that. And this is not necessarily that video. My preferred method is I like the Sawyer water system. And so that's my primary is Sawyer minis and full Sawyers. You can hook one of those systems up to a bucket drip system. You can get a Berkey. There's this adage that you're not a prepper if you don't have a Berkey. I can't afford a Berkey, so I don't have a Berkey. And then there are other methods too. Katadyn filters or other ceramic filter styles. Filter it out and then boil it. How are you going to clean and make your water safe? And if that's just the water tablets, great. As long as you have a plan and preferably a redundancy on how to clean your water. You got to have it. Clean water is the biggest deal there is. Then once you get it home, are you just going to leave it in that bucket or water bladder or however you're hauling it? So how are you going to store it, or how do you store it now? There are all kinds of cool containers. There are water cubes that you can order off the internet. I would love to have 10 cubes because they take up less space, but I don't. What I've bought are these Reliant 7-gallon water buckets. They're blue. They're You can stack them a couple high. You don't want to go more than that. They've got a spigot that hides inside of them, so you put them on their, put the spigot out, set them on their side, and you can dispense the water right out of the storage container. And so those are the ones that I like the most. And 7 gallons of water, you know, one of those gives one of us a bare minimum for a week. Remember, that's not enough water for me, so really we use 2 of those for a week. But but they're easy to store that way, and they're easy to deal with. And then that also answers my last point I want to talk about, is how are you going to dispense it? I mean, are you just going to scoop it out of the bucket? I don't know. I mean, that's up to you. There's all kinds of dispensers, but I like to, once I clean water, I like to put it in a container that has a lid, that so I can have clean water separate clean water. And that's why I like those 7-gallon jugs. And they make all kinds. They make 5-gallon jugs. They make jerry can style stuff. They make all kinds of them. Water's important. You gotta know where to find it. Gotta know how to haul it. Gotta know how to clean it. Gotta know how to store it, and how you're gonna to dispense it. There are lots of options out there. Let me know what you like in the comments below. You know, what's your water plan? And you don't have to spill your guts on your water plan. Just, you know, take one part of that. Where are you going to find it? How are you going to store it? Pick one of those. Thanks for watching. I'm going out this weekend, and so I'll have a couple of Woods videos coming out. And we don't have a plan. We're going to do work, but I think all we're doing is continuing the firewood. We may butcher a chicken or 2, but that'll just be for food. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Let's get ready.